And you'd be right to wonder why ministers won't reopen that contract. It's not because of the finer points of EU competition law. It's because in their heart of hearts they think government should just stand by and watch. Just stand by and watch while wages fall, jobs go and companies suffer. But I tell you, Conference, in difficult times, governments can't just stand by and watch. Governments can shape the choices companies make. They can encourage investment in critical parts of the economy. They can use procurement to foster skills, innovation and new markets. They can bring the transparency that brings fair pay. Governments can shape markets by the competition rules they set, the institutions they create for finance, research and technology, and by their vision for the future. So, Conference, I'm here to tell you that we can make the changes Britain needs. We can build a different and stronger economy in which good companies grow and rewards are fairly shared. So we say, if you've got a business idea and you work all hours and you make a go of it, you make $1 million, we'll cheer you every step of the way. But we won't if you're the director of a failing company who takes $1 million you don't deserve. It's not our job to run companies. But what government does makes a difference to the way that business leaders run their companies. In the economy we'll build, we will say the company that invests long-term is better for Britain than the one that just wants a quick buck. We will say the company with fair pay at every level is better for Britain than one with obscene rewards at the top and poverty pay at the bottom. We will say the company that innovates is better for Britain than the company that sits back and exploits its monopoly. We will say that the company that trains is better for Britain than one that just says someone else could do your job for less. These are the choices that the best companies in Britain are already making, but some are not. Look at all those scams. From payment protection insurance to fuel bills no one understands, from hidden credit card charges to insurance referrals, they've all got one thing in common. There are people at the top who knew it was wrong, but they didn't think it was their responsibility to stop it. But prices are rising, wages are falling, people can't afford to be ripped off. It's got to stop. So I've asked the former Chief Executive of the National Consumer Council, Ed Mayo, to lead our investigation into how we bring to an end the corporate cultures that are conning consumers in this country. The Conference, business has real concern about regulation. And the worst is regulation that holds good companies back but doesn't hinder the bad. So be very clear. We'll tackle the bad, but we'll back the good. There's a company, Griffin Hoverworks, in my Southampton constituency. It sells the world's best hovercraft, a British invention, to 40 countries around the world. And you know there are thousands of companies in Britain like that, in engineering and in film, theatre and the arts, in life sciences and in architecture, in advanced manufacturing and in computer games, in fashion and in law and in IT, in finance, yes, and in green technologies. Companies that are run by people as bright, as inventive as any British people have ever been. But there are not enough of them, and they aren't big enough, and too often they get taken over before they can grow. We're only going to be able to pay our way in the world if those companies grow and prosper. And we'll only pay our way if the world's biggest companies also want to have a stake in Britain's future. They don't want government telling them how to run their business, but they don't want government just to stand by and watch either. Ministers, Ministers in this government wasted a year on a plan for growth that was so useless, it's already being rewritten. So I'll tell you what they should be doing now. First, back Ed Ball's 5-point plan for economic growth. Cut VAT and get the economy moving. Tax bank bonuses to build houses, create jobs for young people and back fast-growing small business. And don't just stand by and watch, do it now. Small businesses are hurting. So I say, if you can't get the banks lending, don't just stand by and watch. Get the Green Investment Bank going now. Reform the banks the public owns. And like Ed Miliband, Ed Balls and me, look at the case for a national investment bank. Listen to the CBI and unlock investment in greening and renewing the infrastructure we need for a new economy. Don't just stand by and watch. Do it now. Get business round the table and agree how and where Britain's going to take on the world. Show how we'll deliver the technologies, the capabilities, the schools to do it and give business the confidence to invest. But I say don't just stand by and watch. Do it now. Back Labour's plans to cap fees and then tell every university in every region to just concentrate on getting skills, technology and research to British business. And Vince, one more thing. When you rightly celebrated the one bit of really good news all year, the investments in Nissan, in BMW and JLR, didn't you notice? In every one, trade unions were full partners in that success. So why couldn't you say that instead of just your union bashing over again? Conference, when Ed Miliband asked me to lead the shadow business team, Gareth, Gordon, Nia, Ian, Chi, Chuka, Tony and Wilf, he said, get out and listen to thousands of businesses across Britain. Everything I've said today comes from things that British business has said to us. From oil in Aberdeen to renewables in Wrexham, chambers of commerce in Norwich to car makers in Sunderland, manufacturers in Leeds to bioscience in London, high-tech startups in Cambridge to banks in Birmingham. And it's because of what they told us, not what we told them, that I can tell you that British business, working with Labour, can build a better future for Britain. We can build a country where the promise of Britain is honoured once more. Thank you, Conference.